Joe Rizzo here with the coach, Jeremy Jacobus, in Sewell, New Jersey, outside Hollydale Ice Arena, where the Rockets have just fallen 3-2 in overtime to the Philadelphia Bells. Had an interest, this was a tale of like 2.5 games or something, right? Like the first period, Rockets start a little slow, 54-second span, you get 2 behind Emma, and then seemingly you outplay them for the rest of regulation, starting from the second period through the end of regulation. You get 2 power play goals in the second period, and then in overtime, player comes out of the corner a little unmarked and finds the back of the net, and suddenly, you're walking out with 1 point instead of 3.
Yeah, let me say, we just went over it with the girls too about playing a complete game. We've talked about coming out hard in the first period and dictating the terms, so to speak. I felt like we were testing the waters a little bit to see how the team played, and then we were a little hesitant in the first period. But you're right. I really feel like we outplayed those Bells for 2 periods there, second period and third period, and I'm proud of how we finished today. It's just in overtime there, we got a little bit confused. I think that player came out ahead of the play right there, and she put one past Emma. But I got to tell you, the girls played really hard for 2 periods there.
So you have the 2-0 deficit. You work back, and you've worked incessantly on the power play during the week. You get 2 power plays in the game. You convert on both of them. Mm-hmm. You erase a 2-0 lead. And then in the end, you give up that last goal. It's after regulation, so you still get the point.
Yep.
But does it leave a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth? Do you feel like almost if the game had ended 2-2, and I don't know if there was any provision for a shootout or anything after that, would you have almost felt a lot different, felt like it was a win, as opposed to, would a tie have felt more like a win in this case, as opposed to the loss, which doesn't feel as good as the 1 point that you got, maybe?
We're glad to get the 1 point because of the standings, but beyond that, we want to win the game. We want to play overtime. We want to determine a winner, and we want to be aggressive. And I think even in that overtime period, there's a few times where we got the puck deep down into their zone. It came up the boards and out, and just that few seconds of lapse is all it takes. It's a good lesson for the girls to learn. They worked really hard today, and they were deflated when that puck went in, and so was the coaching staff. But playing hard and getting that game back to 2-2 was a tall order. The Bells are a good hockey team, and we know that already. We've fallen to them 3 times prior to playing them today. So we like to think that we're doing something better than we were the last few games and getting better as a team as we're moving along. We got another good game tomorrow to play, and we're going to just kind of look forward to that one now.
How do you feel about the puck movement in the offensive zone, which on some possessions it was exceptional? It was by far the best we've seen, where you're not even on the power play, even in the third period, and when you get a chance to watch the video, you probably see it. There's just some real pinpoint passing from the back of the net to the slot to the near corner, back to the point, down, and it was evident on the power play, but even on those possessions it seemed to carry over as well.
Well, I think that's a byproduct that comes from working on the power play. We worked on it a lot this week. We're going to work on it every week now moving forward, because there's lots of lessons to be learned besides just being on the power play. That puck movement is where it came from. We noticed too that goalie was leaving a lot of rebounds, so we had drawn up 2 power play plays, one down low, one up high, and then we kind of just went to the up high play because she was leaving so many rebounds also. And I believe we got 2 goals on rebounds. Is that correct? So, I mean, again, when we draw stuff up, we practice stuff, we draw it up in the locker room, we talk about it before the game, and then we put it out there on the game ice. That's a success. That's a success story. So the coaches feel really good about that stuff. And again, if we could just clean up that first period and come out ready to dictate the terms, because last Sunday we played a pretty stout opponent, and that was a very hard-fought game. It was close, it was tight, it was in-your-face kind of stuff, and it took a little while for us to feel the game out today. And I told the girls we can't take that time to do that. We have to start the game and dictate the terms of the game.
The special teams were definitely the highlight for you today. You killed off all the penalties against you, and you scored on all the power plays that you had. There was one shift in particular that I feel like has exemplified, at least in my estimation, some of the growth on the team, where on the second Bell's power play, the last 64 seconds, you had Georgie and Lily killing it off exceptionally, and nearly actually creating a big scoring chance on that as well. And, you know, that's a pair that I don't think we've seen together very often, you know, out killing penalties. But to me, it shows the readiness of any girl at any time to play in any situation, you know, and we're only here in November.
Well, I'm really glad you brought that up, Joe Rizzo, because that was an outstanding end to a penalty kill by those two players. When I put them out there, I had confidence that they were going to do the job. They did more than the job, and like you said, got the puck deep on 2 occasions during that shift. So, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind.
Gotta play the wind here.
I know. There's no doubt in my mind that the girls are really starting to get it and click together with one another. We're starting to feel it in practice, and we're seeing it out on the game ice. So all of these tight games, somebody's got to win the game sometimes, right? So we're in a lot of one-goal games. So sooner or later, we'll be on the other side of those one-goal games. But right now, the girls are playing pretty good, and they're playing hard. So that's all we can ask, and that's what we're getting. So we're happy with that. And again, we have another opponent tomorrow up in New York, and we just want to dictate the terms in that game and play hard.
All right, as the winds of change literally blow in and nearly blow us over, we'll wrap it up for this one from Sewell, New Jersey, Hollydell Ice Arena. Rockets fall, but in overtime, in another relatively impressive effort that they're building upon. And we'll be back at it on Sunday. Check us out here on the YouTube page. Hit that subscribe button and the alerts button, and you'll know when we're going live or when we're uploading anything from the 19U or the 16U Rockets girls team. For the coach, Jeremy Jacobus, who will now tell us to do what?
Make sure you get home safely, Joe Rizzo.
You too, Coach. Long ride. Got a little longer with that last overtime goal against. But nonetheless, we'll be back at it on Sunday. For the coach, Jeremy Jacobus, this is Joe Rizzo. Thanks for watching New Jersey Rockets girls hockey.